This is my office. It's boring and cramped, and I needed to do something about it. That's why I put together a plan to transform it into my dream office and desk setup. And it begins with building a wood slat feature wall. So let me show you how I turned it from this to this. Hey, my name is Divi, and this video is the first in a series that I'm doing on my desk setup and office makeover journey. My wife and I moved into our condo unit about 2 years ago. We decided the time is right to transform our office from just a functional space to one that's also visually aesthetic. We wanted it to have a mid-century modern vibe to tie it in nicely with the rest of our home. A wood slat feature wall is something that I personally wanted to do for a few years now, and I knew that it would go really well with our concept. I came across a number of YouTubers that have incorporated wood slat walls into their office setups, and I found some ideas and inspiration there when putting my plan together. While a few built theirs from scratch, the majority of them used prefabricated wood slat panels. When I looked into it, the prices to cover my wall using the prefab panels would have run me more than $1,000, which, quite frankly, was out of my budget. I knew I had to go the DIY route to get the most bang for my buck. While I was on Pinterest looking at a bunch of wood slat wall designs, I came across this version. It caught my eye because not only did it have a solution for the bulkhead, the way the wood slats were wrapped around it made the wall more visually interesting. Now that I knew what I wanted the feature wall to look like, it was time to start planning and executing. There are 4 main components to this project. The first component, and the most complicated part of this whole process, is the wood slats. I saw versions that use plywood that are cut into slats, and I saw versions that use pine boards or something similar that comes in various dimensions and requires only cutting to length. Even though the plywood option is cheaper, I chose to go with the 8 feet 1x2 pine boards as I didn't have an electric saw, and overall logistically it would just be easier for me to manage considering I'm in a condo. I just used a handsaw to cut them to length before installing. The second component is the wood stain. I wanted a stain color that would complement the wood countertop of my desk, so I went with the dark walnut from the brand Verathane. It took me one 946 ml can to stain all of the wood slats with one coat and a little bit left to spare at the end. In order for the wood slats to stand out, I wanted to place them in front of a black wall, which is the third component. One option was to paint it, but it meant I would have to get approval from the landlord first and more than likely would have to repaint it to a neutral color when we moved out. The other option was to use a black vinyl wallpaper. It would be easy to install, not messy, and easy to remove when the time came. I found one on Amazon called Homease, and it came in a matte black color. The quality was pretty good for the price, and I bought 3 to cover the entire wall. The last component is a way to secure the wood slats to the wall. I went with a double-sided hook and loop tape, also known as Velcro, from Amazon. This allows me to take the slats off with ease, as opposed to being glued on. The adhesive on the tape as well as the Velcro itself are strong enough to hold up the slats without any issues. I placed the Amazon orders and then took a trip to Home Depot to grab the wood and the stain. To figure out the number of wood slats that I would need, I first had to measure the feature wall. This wall has a bulkhead and I wanted the slats to cover it as well. In total, I determined that I would need a total of 37 pieces of pine board. Before I can install the slats, I needed to prep the wood. First, I cut the wood down to the appropriate lengths. Then, I sanded the wood to help absorb the stain. Next, I laid down some plastic sheets and stained the wood. I only applied one generous coat, waited 20 minutes, and wiped off the excess with paper towel. Lastly, I cut and applied the double-sided Velcro tape to 3 spots on the backside of the slats. Now it was time to apply the vinyl to the wall. I started by rolling the vinyl out on the floor and cutting it to the appropriate length. I initially was hoping to use one long piece to cover the bulkhead on the wall, but between not being able to line up such a long piece and the material being too thick to have a nice crease on the edges of the bulkhead, it was making it difficult to do a clean job. So I decided to cover the bulkhead and the wall with 2 separate pieces. This was my first time installing vinyl wallpaper, and to be honest, it was more difficult than I anticipated. Having another pair of hands to help would have definitely made this job easier. One major problem that I ran into was the vinyl stuck to itself in a certain spot on the centerpiece from me peeling and unpeeling several times to get the air bubbles out. I thought it wouldn't be noticeable once I put the wood slats over it, but due to the way the light was hitting the wall, it was. To fix this, I just cut out the messed up sections and replaced them with new vinyl. Once I put up the vinyl, it was now time for the final step of installing the wood slats. Starting on the right hand side of the wall, I began sticking the slats to the wall. I used the width of a leftover piece of the pine board as a spacer between the wood slats and made sure to include its width in my calculation to determine the number of slats that I would need. When I got to the last few boards, I had to adjust the width of the spaces to ensure that the last piece was touching the other end of the wall. The adjustments were small enough that it's hard for anyone to notice. That's it. Project's done. From inception to completion, it took me a total of 15 hours. Here's a breakdown of the numbers. For the 37 pieces of wood pine board, the total was $294.89. For the stain, $23.91. For the 3 vinyl wallpapers, $110.97. For the roll of Velcro tape, $24.99. The total with tax came out to $513.88. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful or inspired you to build your own wood slat wall or something similar to elevate your space. If it did, please hit the thumbs up button. I also hope that you'll join me on my office makeover journey by subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification button, as I have a few more videos planned. My overall goal for this channel is to create lifestyle content that is entertaining and informative, so please subscribe if this interests you, as I have a lot planned for 2023. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.